All right, guys. What watch would you want to see on a Deluxe rubber strap?
I'm going to pick the actual strap it just came out with, which was the Santos strap. I think it looks unbelievably good. It's so obvious, but like I haven't really considered the Santos a lot, but recently I'm between that and a White Dial Speedy and an Engineer. And the Santos on the rubber strap just makes me want to buy the Santos just so I can get the rubber strap for it from Deluxe, which is, I know, crazy to say, but you see pictures and people understand.
I don't think it's crazy to say. That was the one I was going to choose. So to be different, I'm going to say the IWC Engineer, the new blue dial, because I know that Deluxe had teased something of that color and nature. I think that watch would look cool also on a strap since it has that integrated bracelet. But I do second what you say about the Santos. I can't wait to get the medium-sized rubber straps there.
Oh, yeah, it's so good.
So I have one that I want to see them make an integrated rubber strap for, and one that I think looks great on a rubber strap. But one I want to see them make an integrated rubber strap for is the Octo Finissimo. Getting like a really thin rubber strap that like fits on that titanium case, I think would be so nice. But I think my favorite is the Deluxe rubber strap on cut to size rubber strap on the Pepsi GMT Master 2. I have that with the patterns and stuff. It kind of
mosaic pattern.
Mosaic pattern. It makes it look like a little bit understated, and it's really comfortable. And I just think the Pepsi looks great on that.
Yeah. Great choices, guys. 100%. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Wrist Enthusiast Radio. I'm Derek. I'm here with Ben and Craig. How's it going, guys?
What's up, brother?
I like the hat.
Thank you. Yeah, my hair's not cooperating today because in our test footage, I was like, no, I'm not letting my hair out. So I'm just going to wear a hat.
At least it's watch related.
It is watch related. This is the crash cap made by a friend of mine. His name is Hector. His account name is Madison, New York. He makes some really cool like watch related apparel.
He DMs me.
Oh, you guys know him.
Yeah. No, he doesn't DM me. I don't think.
He likes all my posts.
Maybe I see how it is. I see how it is, Hector.
He's a really cool guy.
I know that was his name. Cool.
Yeah. But he sent me this crash cap. He's made some other colors. I think he's also done the Explorer with the loom on the shirt and stuff like that. So I'm just giving him a free, shout out to him because he's a cool guy. And thank you for the hat.
The apparel game is tough. I mean, first of all, I have so many watch hats, but they're mostly giveaways from the brands. But I remember early days of trying to monetize Wrist Enthusiast. I made watch t-shirts, and that like dealing with sizing was terrible. And then I made mugs that were heat activated, so they look like they loomed when you put hot coffee in.
That's so cool.
Those are very cool. I may still have some left over, so I'll bring them and we can like put them here. Yeah. Some like nostalgia to the old Wrist Enthusiast.
I think you should re-release those. I think now like that everything's grown and stuff like that. Like it's the problem is that it's so much work to sell like a $15-$20 mug, and it's just
you have to sell volume,
and you have to sell such volume,
and you have to order a lot too at the same time.
It's just like,
unless you could do like a made to order system where like
making one.
No, like YouTube, for example, a lot of YouTube creators, what they do is they'll do apparel, but instead of stocking inventory, because that's, takes money and time, they kind of like drop ship it in a way where they have the design sent to whatever the manufacturer, and then they only make it when it's sold.
Okay.
There's like some programs that do that, but that
takes a little bit longer, but then you don't hold inventory.
You don't hold inventory. And then also for the manufacturer, they're only producing what is sold. So like everyone's happy in the end.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe not the customer.
That's something, that's something I've been pushing. Not that this is the topic of the episode at all, but I do find it funny. Like every time I get in like a random, and you guys are probably the same way, you get like a hat or a t-shirt, or like I got a calendar. Everybody's like, where'd you get that? How do you get that?
Yeah.
And I feel like more watch apparel. People are already buying watches. It's already a fashion thing. I think buying that $50 t-shirt or whatever, they would totally be down for if it was cool enough.
Yeah.
I have ideas for that. I don't know if it'll be me doing it, but
you want to be like the source for the brands to do it?
Yeah, or even like having your own watch related clothing brand, and then you could partner with the brands to create clothing for them.
You're like the
watches.
Kith,
but
watches. Like Michael, he partners with all the teams and stuff
and creates apparel for them.
You have the Watches and Wonders,
I think people would go
Target.
nuts for that. I mean, I know for a fact people would buy that stuff because it's like it's not a target on your back by wearing the watch if you don't want to, but it's kind of like a cool thing. It's like people who wear the Audemars Piguet hat. Do you know that?
Is
hat?
it just the Royal Oak bezel?
No, it's literally just says Audemars Piguet.
Oh, but it's all
That's
black,
It's
right?
all black.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like this subtle, almost like Succession kind of thing. I think it looks so cool.
I sometimes wear my all black Hublot hat to get
Yeah.
like a rise out of people. I love it's a really nice hat. And
the
like
Breguet
also,
hat.
And also,
Breguet hat's really nice. Like the royal blue.
I
with,
lied.
like
Wear
the
that
white
all the
stitching.
time.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should let people know what we're talking about today. Maybe, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, talking about things that are next to the industry of watches. Today, we've been challenged by Delugs, by Ken and his team, to talk. So they're celebrating their latest cut to size rubber strap, which
2-year
they
anniversary.
just celebrated 2 years. So they challenged us to come up with what watches do we think would look great on their new rubber straps. We're also just going to discuss watches on rubber straps that we like, stuff like that. And this is just a free-flowing conversation where
Rubber straps.
about rubber straps
I think
and silicone.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't think there's probably ever been a podcast episode or like a YouTube episode just talking about rubber straps. So
I love
this
rubber
is new
straps.
territory, I think.
This is quite challenging of a topic, but I know that I think Ben told me he actually came up with a list of stuff.
I do have a list of stuff, but I think what would be good is I think we're all wearing rubber strap Delugs
Yes.
cut to size
Yeah.
watches. I think it'd be cool for like the wrist check. The show, I guess. yeah.
Like
have to.
always?
Yeah, like
All right,
always. Yeah. No, but also it would work just because.
Yeah.
So I think I'll just start because I just started talking.
Exactly.
But, what are you doing?
Ben has thoughts today. So
I love rubber straps, but I think this watch should be on rubber. I think it's made to be on rubber, even though it's not, it should. This is my Christopher Ford Bel Canto on the white rubber cut to size Deluxe strap. I bought the watch. I had it on the titanium bracelet. It was good. I wore it, but it didn't really fit for me. And then I put it on the Deluxe white rubber strap. I wore it a lot. And then I also got this Deluxe blue leather, which I kind of liked, but then I never wore it after I put it on that strap. And I put it back on this today and I'm like, this is how it should be.
Yeah.
It's just so good, so comfortable. It's very, makes it more like MB&F in a way,
Yeah, no,
Oh,
it does
true.
have that
which
energy.
is not the goal, but it kind of gives that vibe for sure. And yeah, I think Andrew Morgan, if you know him on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube or you know who he is, he came out with his limited edition with the red dial, and with that came a Deluxe white rubber strap. That's where I got the idea for it.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was so good. And now I see a lot of people when they wear this, they buy the Deluxe strap to come with it, but you didn't get that limited edition. They just buy it anyway.
I like that you chose the white rubber. Yeah, a lot of people think white rubber is like only good for summer, but like you can also make it a winter watch. So you cover it a whole range of seasons right there.
Yeah,
especially in
totally.
New
We
York.
called our Diver One the snow. It was snow, and you could have a white rubber strap with it if you want.
Totally.
Yeah.
White rubber strap is the rubber strap, I think. Well, on a lot of watches, but yeah, so that's mine.
So I'll go next. I'm wearing the newest Wren that we released a couple weeks ago. But when this airs, will be like a month ago or 6 weeks ago. The Diver One Sand, and I'm wearing it on a Deluxe cut to size curved spring bar strap. Great strap.
So the string bars curve in to fill in the gap.
So on this watch, so some watches have lugs that are pretty close to the end of the case, and so if you put a straight lug strap on it, it will, tear up against it and rub up against it, and it can ruin the strap. So if you want a little bit more room, so that doesn't happen. I don't think you've seen the Sand.
I haven't seen the Sand, and then I
yeah, I
haven't
love
seen this strap on it. Oh, it's nice that you actually did the curved because it actually fills in the gap.
Yeah.
That's sometimes my pet peeve with straps in general is that if the lugs are too long and there's a big gap, it feels like the watch is like floating on your wrist.
Yeah.
There's certain watches that just, I don't know why they don't do that well, but this is a good example. And then something I also look for is when you hold the watch up like this, if the strap kind of like mimics where the bracelet would have been, like it has the same width and thickness, to me that feels like a better integration than if it like the strap is too thin. It's a thick watch. It always feels off proportion. No, this is good. Yeah, you see how like when I hold it up like this to you guys, the strap pretty much mimics like the thickness of where the lug is. Yeah. And then it tapers down, which to me looks aesthetically pleasing. You know, I think on Deluxe side, it's kind of hard to do that for a bunch of watches because you don't know what watch this strap is going to go on. Yeah. So I don't know. I think they must have like measured a bunch of different thicknesses and like did like all this like in-depth research. Right. I always see Ken and his team have like some heavy hitter watches in their office. Yeah. I think he told me that some of the people in Singapore, like they loan him some of their watches. So he'll get like a Vacheron Constantin overseas perpetual calendar skeleton. And he's like taking pictures. I'm like, where are you getting these things?
He also wears some nice watches.
He has a cool collection. He has some cool
collections. Yeah. But he had some like cool independents, like I think he's like Day Batoon maybe.
Day Batoon. He always wears a Ulysse Nardin.
Yeah, he wears a freak. Yeah.
We're gonna have him on. Hopefully at Watches and Wonders, we're gonna catch some time to chat with him. He's gonna be there.
Well, last time he was in Geneva, do you remember?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
We're gonna try to catch him. I'm sure we'll see him. But back to the Wren Diver One Sand. This dial is pretty awesome, by the way. I haven't seen this in person, but I like the fume effect. I like the polished hands. The polished hands give some nice like reflection of light on it, and the sandwich style is really nice. Ceramic bezel?
No, this is sapphire. All the diver ones right now have sapphire bezels, but we are, and I showed you guys earlier, releasing something new in the coming months, and those will have ceramic.
Yeah,
this is nice. Look, it matches my whole outfit. Yeah, if you want to go for that, like what's it called?
We can trade. I'll take the Omega.
No way.
The white speed.
Don't even try.
That's on the table here.
And then my watch that I'm wearing today, I brought back my IWC Mark 15, the one that I freaking love, the 38 millimeter. And I actually picked up a new strap from Deluxe.
Not gray.
It's not gray.
It's green.
Today
I did the same first three letters though.
I guess so.
Well, depending on how you spell it.
Yeah.
Could be GRI.
I spell it. I go back.
Okay, no correlation. That's just a coincidence. Anyways, this is a green mosaic, like a military green mosaic rubber strap. After I saw Craig's mosaic strap on his GMT Master 2, I was like, damn, I really like that little detailing.
Yeah.
And usually the other rubber straps I have from Deluxe are all like the smooth kind of style. So this one actually has that texturing, and I think that looks a little bit nicer. Especially for the Mark 15, because the dial is so clean and straightforward. I thought it would be fun to have like some pop on the strap itself.
It's so funny with these I don't own a mosaic rubber strap.
Now you want one.
Now I want one. Yeah. And it's really cool when you actually, when you adjust a watch dial, the dial changes colors.
Yeah.
When you adjust that strap, it like shimmers. It's pretty crazy. I don't think I've ever seen.
I've never seen it
rubber.
Yeah, on a rubber strap too. I've never seen it where like
it really like when you really pay it, it's like wow.
Yeah,
it's pretty. I don't know how they make that, but it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I would say I think out of the rubber straps that they make, this is my favorite one, the mosaic now. So now I feel like I have to switch all my other watches to the mosaic strap.
You get a bunch of gray ones.
Yeah,
gray mosaic straps.
Yeah, exactly. I can have enough grays, but. All right, today's topic of the episode, like we mentioned in the beginning, we're going to talk about watches on rubber straps. What are our favorites? I thought there was only a handful, but
there's a lot.
Apparently there's a lot.
And we should start with ones that like come on rubber straps, I think.
Yeah,
and that can lead into what we like, what other watches we like on rubber straps that don't necessarily come on them.
Yeah, so I guess in a way, these are just watches we like and what watches we would like to see on a rubber strap too.
Yeah.
I'm going to start off first with the one you mentioned in the intro, which was the Bulgari Octo Finissimo, because I've never considered that, but I think that's such a great idea because that's an integrated bracelet. It's super thin. The case is like 6 millimeters. And crazy. I would be interested to see what a rubber strap would look like. They make a black leather strap for the watch.
Yeah. I don't love it on the.
I don't love it either, but like the bracelet still looks better. But a rubber strap, I'd be interested to see how that
would look. Mosaic, like a flat mosaic.
Yeah.
Can.
Blue, blue with the blue dial.
I wonder if he's ever showed a Octo Finissimo on a Deluxe
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Now we've challenged him.
Yeah. Ken, okay, there's one.
You've been challenged. And you also have to get me an Octo Finissimo to wear it with. So
look it up.
But going back to watches that I think we should start with watches that we think that are on rubber straps, that come on rubber straps. So like
Okay.
a lot of watches do come on rubber straps, and that's like the main way they come. And I think, you know, kind of going into some history, you see a lot of now precious metal watches that come on rubber straps, and a lot of people don't know that the first people to do that, do you know the first brand to do that?
Is Hublot?
Hublot.
Yeah.
They're the first one to mix precious metal and and rubber, and now, you know, everyone does it. So I mean, you know, I think one of my favorites is like the Rolex Yacht-Master, in gold, white gold or yellow gold, rose gold too. Now the Yacht-Master comes in titanium, but that's on a bracelet, which I thought kind of defeat the purpose of it. You know, like having this like kind of divey-esque luxury watch that's on a rubber strap, and the oysterflex are so nice.
Well, it's like the interesting thing about Rolex, which I used to have a Submariner, and if you want to buy an oysterflex, they won't let you unless it's comes on the watch.
Yeah.
Oh, you
So,
can't
like,
just buy the strap?
No, they wouldn't let me. I was like, I have the Starbucks, like I want to get a black oysterflex in the same lug width. It would totally fit. There's no way it wouldn't. And they were like, sorry, we can't sell that to you. It doesn't
So
come
you
on
have to buy the watch.
You have to buy the watch.
Someone's had to swap
Or
their...
Buy it and just sell it.
Yeah, buy the watch and then buy an oysterflex on the gray market or something. Like you can't buy the strap, which is
Until I first started handling the oysterflex, I always thought that they were fitted to the end.
yeah,
They're not.
They're not.
They look like they are, but they're not.
What does that mean, fitted to the end?
Like on
Like not integrated.
like
Yeah.
Oh,
against
like
the-
to the case?
to the case. They're
Oh,
not.
it goes into a link? Is that right?
No,
Like how
it-
Tudor
like-
does
No,
it?
it's literally like this.
It's like that, but
It's
it's
like
like
this.
the way that it's
Oh.
like rounded, it almost like fits seamlessly. You almost can't even tell.
Right. And in pictures, it looks like it doesn't look like that, but you don't even notice it.
Yeah, you don't even notice.
Like on this, you notice it's
you
not
notice that
integrated.
it's not fitted to the case. But
Yeah.
Rolex somehow does it that it looks like it is, but it's not. And then they have like on the backside, like the way that it's like there's like little pieces, right, that kind of come around to like make it feel better
Yeah.
on your wrist.
Oh, on the inside of the
yeah.
strap, it like makes it more ergonomic. I'm assuming,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that, where like it's like these little pieces on the inside of the
Yeah.
strap that kind of like push the strap away from your wrist. It's very comfortable.
Oh, is it like little ridges or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, they're kind of
And it
like
creates like airflow on your
Yeah,
wrist.
yeah,
too, so you
yeah,
have
yeah,
like
yeah.
breathability.
they're like
Okay.
obviously thinking a lot about how to do rubber straps.
But the problem is they only come. I'm pretty sure they only come on precious metal Rolexes.
Yeah, and they probably have like all these patents and copyrights and
I'm
things.
sure.
So like no one can like copy like any like the way that it's
Yeah.
made. So that's why, you know, you see some like Rubber Bee and Everest and all these brands.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're all like integrated, normal, either integrated. First of all, you were talking about this integrated into the first link. I hate that.
Oh, it's the worst.
I think it's the worst.
The Tudor Pelagos has that. I hate
Yeah,
it.
I don't like it because when you have to strap change, you have to like, it's like a whole operation. You got to take off the lugs,
It looks stupid.
the links, the
You
end
either-
link. Yeah.
You either want it on a bracelet or you want it on a rubber strap.
Yeah.
Like, what is this partial rubber strap part? That's not for me.
No, I also just don't understand how they can only come on the precious metal watches. I feel like if you have a steel, like I
Yeah.
want a steel Yacht-Master on an oysterflex. Nope, can't do that.
Well, they don't make a steel Yacht-Master, so.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
But like the titanium.
But
they
he's saying
said-
if he
Like a
if he
steel
didn't want the
Daytona.
bracelet
no.
for the
But they
Yacht-Master.
should. I think it'd be cool. You know, the Yacht-Master is one of those watches like the Sky Dweller that originally only came in precious metal,
Mhm.
and then they brought into non-precious metal. Like the Sky Dweller went to steel when it was originally only precious metal, and then the Yacht-Master went to titanium.
Yeah,
Mm.
Like you should offer the titanium on the oysterflex as well. at least.
totally.
I think that would be cool.
Totally.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I didn't even realize that. What's it called? The gap. There's a gap in between the lugs and the
Yeah.
strap. So it kind of makes me think. Do you think watches should like rubber straps should be integrated into the case? Because like I'm like a yes and no on this topic. Since I brought it out, I'll start off like I think like exactly on Ben's Belcanto he's wearing like the rubber strap is so close to the case that to me it doesn't really bother me that there's a gap.
No.
It's only when there's a noticeable gap I would
Yeah.
prefer it to have like the filled in look.
I like it. It depends on the watch, right? Like for Wren, we did because I think on like divers and sport watches, that integration makes it look more sleek and
I agree on that
dynamic.
too.
But
Yeah.
like if you are wearing a, you know, like you put a Reverso or something on a rubber strap or something like that, or like a Santos, I don't necessarily think it needs to be, because those watches are a little bit more classic in their look.
Yeah.
So like sport, like much sport, like a Daytona. If it's not on the oysterflex, I think it should be on integrated. It really depends on the watch.
That's true.
Definitely. I think one of my favorite looks, which is so silly, but it's probably applies to Speedmaster, is the MoonSwatch on those integrated rubber straps. Looks so good.
Yeah.
Just like
true.
that.
Yeah, both of mine are on like those.
Yeah, they look so good. I used to sell those.
Yeah, multiple of yours. Which ones do you have?
I think we talked about it in the last episode that I have the Mars and the Mercury.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
And I just haven't sold them.
Yeah.
It's like not worth my time to try and sell them, even though I don't really wear them. I think another, like one of my favorite watches on a rubber strap, just because the rubber strap is so unique and made for that watch, is the Aquanaut.
Aquanaut.
That's
I
what I was
knew it
gonna
was
say.
coming up.
Yeah. The Aquanaut.
That's the best ever, I think.
And in the way that it probably, first of all, it's cut to size. I think they're
one of the first
to do
or at
cut
least
to
in my
size.
mind, they're the first, because that's
Ken
the one in
even
the
talked
industry.
about, like,
yeah.
I feel like it being an inspiration to him, because he saw that they did it and nobody like did it like on the, you know, like if you wanted to buy a watch, you had to like have an Aquanaut.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love that they have that grenade pattern both on the dial and on the rubber strap. I think is great, and I know they offer the Aquanaut on the bracelet, but I don't even like the bracelet on it. I don't
No, it
think
looks
the
terrible.
bracelet looks.
I don't even. Yeah, when you mentioned a bracelet,
It's
I was
not
like, wait, I can't even
it's
imagine in
not
my
like-
mind
it's
what
not
it
that
looks
good.
like.
It's
on the
not that
bracelet.
good. But the Aquanaut, I almost traded a bunch of my watches to buy an Aquanaut like a year ago.
Oh yeah.
But
And
then I
what
was like, I'd
happened?
probably have to trade my Daytona and my Royal Oak, and I'm like, I'm not doing
Like
that.
I
looks
see.
terrible.
Whoa, that's.
Yeah.
Oh, is that okay?
But
Yeah.
so I love the integrated ones on the new Aquanauts, but on the vintage Aquanauts, the like straight lug.
Oh, so good.
My dad used to have one, like one of those vintage, like not, it wasn't really vintage, from like the early 90s or something,
Yeah.
but on like the straight lug or the straight, do you have a picture of those? There's like that looks
let me
so
see.
good.
I like this. Like that is just such a home run.
Oh,
I would do anything. This is one of my
It
grails.
looks so awesome.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Yeah.
And that's it's
50, 65.
Yeah.
That's so funny you bring it up, because like I didn't even know the Aquanaut came on a bracelet. So the fact that it's so integrated in our minds that it's a watch that is
Integrated
made
in our
to
minds.
be on a rubber strap. There you go, integrated in our minds. But it actually just made me think of another watch that has like the pattern on the dial and also on the strap. And the watch I just thought of was the Zenith Defy Skyline, the newest
Oh,
version.
yeah.
Like I didn't like, it's something you notice when you first look at it, and then but it also comes on a bracelet. You like get both options.
Yeah.
But what now you mention it again, I'm like, yeah, that rubber strap is also cool because it actually has texturing, just like the Aquanaut, where you can feel the pattern, and then it's also continues onto the dial.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. I think more brands should do that if they're going to do their rubber strap. I got another one that just came to mind, the Vacheron Constantin Overseas. They're a
have
native
that on my list,
rubber
yeah.
strap. That one's nice because they have like that Maltese cross like pattern, and they do two different types. There's one that's for the ultra thin perpetual calendar version, so those straps are even thinner.
Yeah.
And then they do one which is the regular width as well. And one hack that is like someone like me with the overseas wears a little thick, especially on the rubber strap. It flares out a lot. So one hack that you can do is you can order the perpetual calendar rubber strap. It's the same exact thing, except it's thinner, and then it lets the strap, it doesn't flare out, it just drops straight down.
Yeah, you did that, right?
Yeah.
Rolex,
So I bought,
take note.
yeah, so I basically, because like the overseas on its native strap or on its bracelet, it flares out to like 55 mm.
Yep.
It lug to lug. It's like
Yeah.
huge. So ultra thin strap, no flare, and it still has the pattern, and it's still a native Vacheron
Yeah.
strap. So like no one,
Works, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Royal Oak offshores on the rubber strap, like the divers
true,
and stuff.
true.
Though
Yeah.
That, like
comfortable.
it's very unique. They're comfortable. I don't know if any of the Royal Oaks come on rubber.
I saw other brands and companies
That make them, yeah.
that make them
You
as
could buy
well.
them.
But also one I think that's kind of underappreciated. I don't know, underappreciated. They also have a cut to size, and it's fitted to the case. The Doxa sub 300, or any of the Doxa.
Yeah.
Oh,
or
okay.
Doxa. Some people call it Doxa.
No, that is a myth.
That is a myth.
Craig and I are at the same thing. I won't say who said this,
but
somebody was trying to tell us that it was Doxa, and I was like, "It's not. I've never heard that once in my life."
Yeah, everyone I know calls it Doxa.
Someone can comment if you're on YouTube right now. Looking at
Doxa.
There's no way it's Doxa. It's Doxa.
Someone's gonna write in a comment. It's pronounced Doxa. Like they're just gonna write the word.
I work for the brand.
No, but I appreciate Ken and I appreciate Doxa. I guess Patek too. But it's when we were doing the I know, we know. When we were doing the rubber strap for the Wrens, we did FKM rubber. With like quick release.
What does that mean? FKM?
It's just it's just like the highest grade rubber instead of like doing like silicone.
Okay.
Which is like really cheap.
Yeah.
So like the dirty secret are that rubber straps are not that expensive to make regardless, but it can be like $1 versus $10.
Yep.
Like that will be maybe $2 to $3 for silicone strap and $10 to make a rubber FKM
especially when you're making them in bulk.
But like
what
becomes expensive, like for us, it was thousands and thousands of dollars to do fitted to the end, like do the mold for that. So only once you get over a certain scale does it like the price come down a lot. But we were given the option to do a cut to size, and it adds like $20 to $30, like a rubber strap. And then you saw on our new watch coming out the way that we did the push button thing, that adds another $20 to $30. So you end up spending $50 on making it cut to size and also adding like the push.
Yeah.
Then a $10 to $15 strap costs you $50 to $60 to make. So like when brands are doing that, that they're actually spending a lot of money. And if the watch like the Doxa comes natively on that, then like you should do that.
Yeah.
And spend that money, especially for like a $2,000 watch, $3,000 watch. But if like for us, the FKM rubber strap was like an add-on. And I was like, I can't spend, $60 a watch. Like that's more than the bracelet. Yeah. That's like getting close to the bracelet price. But like we're thinking about like doing like selling like as, add-ons. And then you want to do it, I think, a little nicer.
I think one of the crazy things as you're going through that is what I found out, and I think I was with you when we found this out, like almost all the brands in Switzerland get their rubber straps made by the same maker in Switzerland.
Yeah.
It's called Biwi.
Yeah.
It's public information, but like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
They all like, it's like
about
they make like everybody's rubber straps.
I think it was when we were talking
with And it's wild. Like it's just crazy that like this one, and also we were just talking about the Acquired podcast, the Rolex episode, and I'm only an hour and a half in, but it's also really interesting how they get into like for last 200 years, every small part of every watch is made in a different factories. Like the mainspring's made here versus the straps are made here versus the cases are made here. And then you kind of like put them all together. It's so cool. Yeah. But the rubber strap one is a big one that like,
So speaking about that Acquired episode, I actually finished all 5 hours. I listened at 1.5 speed. So it's only 4 hours of my time instead of 5, but I want to like mention it real quick, cause it's so well worth listening to it. It's like, I guess the equivalent of like picking up a history book about Rolex, and these guys go really in depth. And like one of the things you mentioned that what Rolex had done, and I know certain other brands have done in now today, but one thing that differentiated them, instead of like acquiring one piece here, one piece there, they started buying the manufacturer and then having the manufacturer exclusively make that component for them. So there was one that they mentioned, I forgot the name of it, but I think it was for their case, I think, or the crystal.
I'm not there yet. I was there for the movement one. I remember when they bought their movement manufacturer, but Oh yeah. So I think that was the early, first they started with the movement. Agler, yeah. So that's like always interesting too. But I know that rubber straps and like components like that, a lot of the brands do source to other manufacturers to make it, and these manufacturers basically specialize in making this one thing
for their watch and then selling it to all the
But
brands.
apparently this Swiss manufacturer, like rubber straps for watch brands are just like a small part of their business.
Well, yeah, this one. What was the other part of the
It
business?
was like, I don't know, it was like defense it was like something like totally different, like tires or something.
Like they're making millions of straps a year, but like that's not even their biggest business.
Yeah, that's like a tiny portion of their business.
Yeah.
On the side, I forget what it was. Maybe it was. I don't think it was tires. It's
something. I don't
something.
remember.
Which I found kind of funny.
Maybe it was tires. Yeah, I don't know.
But I think this brand is controversial, but their rubber straps I think are really cool for the watches that they make. I wonder if you can guess.
You're gonna say Hublot?
Yeah,
No, not Hublot.
Richard Mille?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Like you may like Richard Mille, you may not like them. Their rubber straps are really cool and fit like what they're trying to do.
I've never seen a Richard Mille up close.
Really?
Yeah. Well, yeah, really. I don't know that many people walking around.
Hey,
with
if
a Richard Mille.
anybody listening, to
I've
this
seen
right
them
now,
on. I know people who have them, but I haven't like interacted with them to like.
Did you go to the like Hodinkee Watches and Wonders party last year? Someone was wearing one.
I think I left by that point. I think that day I
you have to come to
go.
Wrist Aficionado. You'll see like 5 of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You'll just.
Well, I think I'm like most people who have not seen a Richard Mille in person.
But you're
like
in the
we've seen them
watch
online.
industry.
Yeah, but like
So-
I've been to events and
Like I can't afford one, but
no.
I've seen
The
it.
one wild thing about them is the bigger ones, maybe not, but like the smaller, thinner ones, like the Rafa
They're-
Nadal,
they're
so comfortable.
They're so comfortable.
I granted, you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars.
so what are
on them,
their
but
rubber straps like? It's not cut to size. It's
I always think about theirs being
Are
Velcro.
they cut to size?
No, I always think about their Velcro straps more than their rubber. Like what I've seen. No, their rubber straps
But they
are
have like
pin
the
buckle.
holes and stuff.
Yeah.
And like they're just like they're cool.
I think the most comfortable part of them is the ones on Velcro,
yeah, those are cool too.
which I also love Velcro. By the way, Deluxe, that's a phenomenal, the Delcro.
Oh, the
Oh, yeah.
Delcro.
You have
You
the
have
Velcro.
Yeah. Oh man, that changes. That makes that watch like
I should have brought that one.
Yeah,
I will
that
put some
one's so
B-roll
good.
like I'm
Yeah.
wearing it. Let me do a second
Yeah.
wrist check right now with my Delcro.
no, it's so
It's so good. I've had so many people whenever I post that colloquium, whether it's on the podcast or whether it's on my Instagram, being like, "Where's that strap from? Where do you get that strap?" Like everyone asks where they get the Delcro.
Yeah, I like the Velcro. I need to pick one up myself too.
Yeah,
I don't have a watch for it.
You could just ask for a 20 millimeter, get like a 20 millimeter Velcro.
I'm trying to think what would look
anything
good.
that you'd wear like a NATO on.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think the Delcro would look good on.
I think so too. Yeah, I think it would look so good on this watch. I think I should
it would
try
work
that
on
next.
this too.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
What about your Tudor sub?
No.
You don't want to.
Well, the problem with that is like, not to talk about that, but those old rivet bracelets, like you can't like once you take a link out,
Yeah.
it's like that link is dead. It's like the weird. I don't know if that's age or
From
not.
stretching and stuff.
No, I sold that, but also the Delcro doesn't go on that because it's fixed lugs.
Oh yeah, because you
because
need
it has
it doesn't.
the-
It's not like a regular strap where it can go
I
through.
asked Ken about it. He said,
Oh
no.
yeah.
He said maybe they're thinking about making one, but I love Velcro.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put it on a Wren. That'd be
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
That would look good.
Oh,
I have a watch. Well,
Okay.
I have. Okay, this is my list I made in the car.
Okay.
Aquanaut was on there.
Rapid fire.
Oysterflex Daytona, but that's similar to the Yacht-Master, but I love that. I have the Royal Oak Offshores.
Okay. There you go.
I have the Wren Diver One, which has an awesome rubber strap. Especially my
What
whole
about-
point was the integrated part of it.
What about? Here's a slight teaser. Diver 38. Oh, I didn't say anything.
Yeah,
That's it.
What? The Vacheron Overseas, I have too. I was at a. You were there with me. What was the brand we were there? Gerard Perigo. And somebody was there wearing a blue dial Overseas on the white rubber strap, and I was
So
like,
killer.
and he was we had a mutual friend that I grew up with, which is bizarre. So I was talking to him for a long time, and he was wearing it. And I'm like, that is sick.
Can I say something kind of off
Yeah.
topic? So I'm not gonna say the brand, but I got invited to like a preview for Watches and Wonders of a brand that's coming up, and Ben apparently is invited too. And so I picked a time, and they're like, "Oh, like, but Ben is coming like an hour later. Do you want to come then instead?" I'm like, do I need to be with Ben at all times? Like, brands, do we need to like be at the same time?
I don't even know what brand you're talking about. I'm curious to hear after the
I'm
podcast.
so
You can
confused.
tell me
That
after.
really was random.
I was just thinking, he was saying that we saw each other at like
different brands.
He was like, oh, at this event. He's been saying like, oh yeah, I think Greg and I saw that.
You know,
so I was just thinking about it.
It just might be crazy, but I think
I'm my own person.
people think we do a podcast together.
Yeah, I think they do. I think they do.
Do they
I
think we're gonna
do.
like do an impromptu podcast together? Like, while we're at the
I don't know. Well, it's like we all went to the Longines event.
Yeah.
When they told me, they were like, "Oh, Craig and Derek are coming," and I'm like, "Oh, of course I'm going to be there."
maybe that's the way. Like, but like I already committed to coming, but like I can understand it being like if like you guys committed to try and like push me over the edge, being like, "Oh, well, Ben and Derek are going to be there, so like you can't come."
That's very fair.
But when I've already said yes, then I'm like,
it's so interesting how like
associated.
a little bit off topic, but like how like weird like people get associated with each other.
Yeah.
Like I got associated with people the other day who I won't say, and I was like, "Oh, I never speak to them. Like I've tried, and they're like, really? You don't know them?" I'm like, "No, I see them all the time. I try to talk to them, and it's like it's just weird how it's like clicky."
Yeah.
I don't think I get associated with that many people.
Just us.
Yeah, well, I get associated with you guys, and then also Watch Club Society. So like Chi, James,
Right.
Ricky, Kevin, Eric, like their whole gang.
I don't even know them.
Yeah, you probably have seen a bunch of them
Eric
at events.
from-
Eric Loomshot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I think Eric and I used to get like lumped together because we're like both Asian. We're the same height. We both have a Vacheron overseas.
You both do YouTube.
both do
Eric
YouTube.
and Ken should do a podcast.
Yeah, Eric, I told Eric he should
gotta
come
have
on.
him on.
He said he's down to come on.
I think he will be fast.
I think he did. I'm just gonna say he said. So, I had dinner with him like a couple of weeks ago, and then we were just catching up, and he's doing well. So he definitely wants to come on. Like I mentioned in the last episode, he was one of the people who inspired me to go buy a cinema camera. He's like, why don't you just buy this $2,000 camera? And I'm like, why would I do that? Like, why don't I buy? And then he like convinced me. So I was like, he always does that. He convinced me to upgrade gear. But he's like, I love talking with someone who are really in depth into things because they make you more excited about like it's just like what James was talking about a few episodes ago where like when you get into something, you just get so deep into it. Like we're doing a podcast on rubber straps. I mean, like, who does that?
I could talk all day.
Well, we should talk about watches that we want to see on rubber. We'd like to see on rubber straps, but specifically on Delugs, our sponsors' rubber straps, and not just because they sponsor us, but because we love their rubber straps.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal something from I think you, but the Engineer.
That was
you.
Yeah.
You teased it, but like,
and Ken teased it.
Yeah, but like that would make me want to buy the Engineer more.
Yeah,
if I had that option,
I'd be interested to see what it looks like. Yeah, because I think
you saw we saw the
I wore the Engineer a couple episodes ago too.
We put the render. The render.
Yeah, he was
pretty good.
So that's another one where, like the overseas, I'd be interested if it doesn't flare out.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's something they do well, like because I think a lot of what's it called? Like Ken and I probably have the same wrist size too, so we're always thinking about like taper and how watches wear on the wrist, even if they're larger. So I think that's something they'd be working on. But yeah, Engineer for sure.
I said the Octo Finissimo. Yeah, I think would be cool. That'd make me think about buying it if it was done well. The one problem, it's like really flat, so I wonder if it's like
it's gonna be so thin,
so thin and like wide.
Yeah, that's my only thing. I think that's why I don't like the leather strap because it's so wide and thin. Yeah, and it just feels so like wide. Yeah, it feels like. I don't like the first thing I thought. It feels like someone wearing really wide pants and then it tapers down to their ankles. Like
it's like what is the MC Hammer or whatever
No, it's even like parachute pants, but like even wider than that. You know, like
what? I think anything Grand Seiko, especially the titanium ones, like the Shunbun off the top of my head with a Deluxe cut to size, looks so good when I see pictures of those.
Yeah.
I mean, like I think
I'm just looking at Derek's Grand
I think
Seiko.
The white Speedy.
All right, let's start talking about the white.
The white Speedy on.
I am
a white rubber strap. Oh,
yeah,
a white cut to size.
So I actually bought what's it called, the Omega rubber strap. I want to shout out Omega's rubber straps too because they've been improving over the years too, and I like their latest version. They're very comfortable.
Is that the same version that's on the Seamaster?
It looks the same, but then when you flip it over, it has like the moon crater. What's it called? Detailing on the inside. I should have put it on the watch today. I totally forgot, but I'll bring it to the next one. But yeah, it has like the moon craters on the strap, which I think is a really cool detail on the underside.
Yeah.
And then it has like the same kind of folding class. I think it's the same folding class, like single fold over. One pet peeve of mine when it comes to rubber straps, and maybe this is more in like silicone and cheaper straps, is that over time they get like really hard.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and also dusty. Like
the silicone gets so much, especially the black ones get so much dust on them.
Yeah,
it's just like a dust magnet.
So if you wear like any clothing you wear, you have sleeves, and then your sleeve catches on the rubber strap, you'll just see like little particles of dust, and that's like so frustrating. Now you're making me check. I'm like, okay, yeah, my strap.
Can we also talk about? I love this watch, but the fact that like it doesn't have quick release system, it's just like.
I wish it did too. Yeah, but
that is. I will say the one thing about the watch that like there's no quick release system, but the new bracelet on these watches, especially this white one, I'm like obsessed with. It makes me want them that much more. From wearing, like I've worn Speedies before. I've been like, oh, this is nice. I'm not freaking out about it.
Yeah,
this bracelet,
I know,
is even though it doesn't have the quick release though.
You saw our new quick release coming soon.
Yeah. It's good.
Okay, but speaking of the Speedmaster, so the other day I was wearing it on a strap, and it just didn't do the same thing for me. And so when I feel like this watch just looks so good on this like presidential style bracelet, like the way it tapers, the way the links fall on the wrist, it's like super comfortable. This is also an example of a watch where I think it looks the best on its bracelet. Like I tried a rubber strap on it, but like I feel like it just changes the whole look of the watch.
Do you think it needs to be a fitted rubber strap or
like the one I have is a fitted rubber strap?
The Omega one's fitted.
I think the Omega one's fitted, like it's integrated into the case.
Yeah,
but
it looks too much like a MoonSwatch because everyone puts the MoonSwatch on the rubber. No, but do you see that? I jokingly
the 1965.
Yeah, I jokingly sent. So I saw that Omega Swatch released a new MoonSwatch, the tribute to like 1965, which is like a white dial, and the only like real. I mean, like obviously it's a MoonSwatch. It doesn't have the red writing, which I love the red writing on that. But I sent it in a group chat to Derek and Ben, and I was like, Derek, if you just waited a few weeks, you wouldn't have to spend so much money.
I'm pretty sure it's still going to be like a crazy line for it. And I think so. I stopped going after MoonSwatches. I think since the first run.
Yeah. No, but I don't think that there's like even if they release something really cool, I just don't think there's the same.
I just think it was a crazy move to come out with the white Speedy and then be like, we're going to come out with the white MoonSwatch. I think that was like too far.
And it was so close in time. It's so close. It almost seems like they're like, we haven't sold enough of the MoonSwatches recently. Money. So like everyone's also, loving that,
the anniversary 65. We were just talking about this the other day. Yeah. Like, that's not an anniversry you could celebrate.
They're like, we can't wait. They were like, we can't wait 10 years to release it.
Yeah, we can't wait even 5 years. Yeah.
Well, here's the other. I don't even think that's the most shocking thing about the latest release. The most shocking release to me about it is that it came out with two other watches, a Hamilton and a Rolex MoonSwatch.
Yeah, what was with that?
Did you see that? So they basically
a bioceramic
Rolex Daytona, but instead of writing Rolex, they just put an X. On the logo,
that was crazy.
And it's made after the Rolex. Like if you read all the ones that came out,
a Swatch did.
Yeah, like so everyone saw the 1965, and that was like initial reaction.
Like a Longines too. That was like a bioceramic
I think
Longines.
It was
I think they should have done the Longines because that was also. I believe that was also
a watch. Are you sure it was a Hamilton?
I think yeah.
I thought there was a Longines bioceramic, which I wasn't like. I thought it was just a Longines.
Here's on my phone. This is from Time and Tide. Okay. Look at exactly this picture.
Yeah.
And then read the comments, and people are all talking about it. We'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, it's Wittnauer. That's right.
The one all the way on the right.
On the right is the Rolex one.
Yeah. But the left is Wittnauer?
Yeah.
I thought it was Hamilton. No?
Yeah, it's Wittauer. But I think Wittauer was bought by Longines.
That I'm not too
it's sure. Like a vintage Rolex.
A vintage Daytona.
It looks like a pre-Daytona.
I think that's what they're saying in the comments or in the description, but like literally just has the letter, the X on the dial, and then you have like the Daytona sub dials and everything. I thought that was I think that's the most shocking thing about the release. Not that I'm not surprised by MoonSwatches anymore. That's like whatever.
Right.
That to me is like, whoa. Now they're just like going after other brands.
Yeah.
Made a MoonSwatch out of it.
It's a pre-Daytona, they say on there. But like I've seen like the actual pre-Daytonas in person. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. So I just found something. Omega and Rolex have always had a little bit of a feud, right? They're competitors.
Yeah.
But so that was the Rolex one with the X. But the Wittnauer one was interesting that they made a MoonSwatch Wittnauer because Wittnauer was bought by Bulova.
Are they still owned by Bulova?
Bulova was bought by Citizen, so Citizen Watch Group, according to Google, owns Wittnauer now.
But they're doing a MoonSwatch?
Well, no. So
it's their version of it.
Yeah, so like what I'm saying is like if Omega's taking shots at Rolex, Bulova just came out with these snorkels, which are kind of like their version of the MoonSwatch. I'm not saying that they're taking a shot at them, probably not, but it is interesting that they put a Wittnauer in there when it's owned by a different company.
I think they're trying to go for the original, like during that time too, the 1965. So that's probably why they're doing it.
But hold on. So are all of those made by Swatch?
Yes.
The Wittnauer is Swatch.
Yeah.
So the Wittnauer is, if all our information is up to date, a collaboration between Citizen Group and Swatch Group. Because
maybe I can't tell.
That seems weird to me because like Wittnauer, like people that like really know watches have heard of the brand, but it's not like it doesn't seem like it would naturally like Swatch would be like, yeah, we definitely want to make a Wittnauer bioceramic Wittnauer for you.
It doesn't make sense.
So the reason why I mentioned I said Hamilton, but people were writing online Longines / Wittnauer.
That's what I said, Longines. But Longines is Swatch Group.
Right, that would make more sense. Wittnauer used to be owned by Longines, and now it's, according to Google, Wittnauer is bought by...
I think we're going to have to come back on this exact topic and do a little more research on... But this is more of like an initial review. What's it called? Like a first reaction to seeing that. Because
they had a long partnership in history with Longines.
Okay.
That would make more sense.
There's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on. I wanted to bring up... I'm becoming obsessed with the White Dial Speedy, as if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you probably know I become obsessed really quickly. But what I was saying to Derek is I actually like that over the Panda Daytona.
Oh, yeah.
Price equal. Yeah. They're both, let's say they're both $10,000. I'm picking that.
Well, you don't have to unscrew the pushers.
You don't have to unscrew the pushers. And it's a manual mount. I don't even know if it's thinner, but
I think this one is 13.2 millimeters.
No, it's definitely not thinner. The Daytona's like 12.
Yeah, it wears so well though.
It's a good watch. I mean, I have a Daytona, so it's like a white Daytona with the steel bezel, so it's a little bit redundant.
Is yours thin as well?
Yeah.
The thickness? Yeah.
It has the Rolex movement in it. And the new movement.
Oh, yours is a Zenith one?
No, it does.
Oh, it is. It does have the Rolex, yeah.
Yeah. There's a long story.
You know how you can tell if it's the Zenith or the Rolex?
The 6 versus 9.
Yeah, the sub-dial.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
On the Zeniths, all the seconds run at 9, and on the Rolex movement, it's at 6.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, like the color is a little different. Like it's a darker, more panda on the Zeniths, and it's silver, the sub-dial rings.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, Deluxe straps. Anything else we want to see them on that we can give Ken some ideas?
I mean, I feel like divers are always an easy choice. We already mentioned some of like the high horology. Like we would like to see. I think it would be cool to see an AP Royal Oak on it, but then at the same time, I feel like maybe not, because those are bracelets. Watch is made for a bracelet. It's made to look good.
That's how I feel about the Submariner a little bit now.
Yeah, like it's always gonna look iconic on a bracelet.
Yeah. The one that really cool. I've seen tanks. I think Ken's posted or people posted.
Yeah.
But then they do look good on the rubber Deluxe.
I'm surprised how good the rubber on a tank looks.
Deluxe
it's like
on reverso.
Yeah, you could do that too. I've done that before too, but I don't know. I still put it back on a leather strap, but I don't know why on the tank it's the same kind of case.
It's nice.
Rectangular shape, but it looks nice.
It's sick.
Especially if you're like, I've seen I think he did the Cartier tank mosaic, like the one with all the that with the mosaic pattern strap. That would be like a cool. That might even be the inspiration for this mosaic pattern. It's because it looks so similar, where it has like
that's
the
cool.
gradient.
That is cool.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. I think well, the only Cartier watch we mentioned is the Santos, which they already launched, and I think they launched the large size. I'm waiting for the medium so I can get it on my medium Santos and then talk about it again. But that's something I've been waiting for years, because if you bought the Cartier Santos medium, just from Cartier alone, you can only get leather straps.
Right.
Like, Cartier does make a rubber strap, but it's only for the large model. It's like a black rubber strap, and they have like the screws into the top of the rubber strap, but they never made it down to the medium size. Like if I had a rubber strap on the Santos, would I wear it more? I don't know, but I definitely would like to have the option.
Yeah.
You know, I probably would still wear it on
I
the
think you
bracelet
probably would wear it more.
I think I would too, or just like bring it with me
More
when I go on a
variety.
trip or something.
But now that you have this, what do you got?
First world problems. Watch collector problems.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're getting something new.
Huh? Yeah, Wren Diver One.
You want the other one.
Huh?
You want
Yeah.
the other one.
Yeah. Anyways,
Let us
that's
know.
our episode for today.
Let us know what you want Ken to, which watch you have that Ken doesn't make a rubber strap for that you want him to.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we will force him to make it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.